As the Walt Disney Company continues to struggle with its capital allocation strategy, or in other words, how much money they dedicate to one project over another, Disney seemingly has spared no expense when it comes to honoring the company's CEO in the form of the Robert A. Iger Building, the new, quote, state-of-the-art facility, mainly dedicated to the production of ABC television programming. However, a source has reached out to us with information suggesting that the final price tag might have been as much as 3 times higher than the high-end average for a newly constructed office building in New York City. Let's talk about the breakdown of the budget allegedly set aside for the Robert A. Iger Building and the consequences of all this mishandled spending by the Walt Disney Company here on That Park Place. We're going to do something a little bit different, folks, for this one, because to really underscore this story, we need visuals. We really do, because I want everybody to be keenly aware of just of the state of this building right here. So what I did was I put together a little bit of a montage here, going over the various images that we have of the Robert A. Iger building. And if you want to go ahead and follow along with us, I'm going to go ahead and put this in. I'm going to put this in the chat right now. A link to this.
By the way,
go
I
ahead.
just have to point out that they call those the things on the roof. They call them setbacks. Like intentionally, they call them setbacks. I'm like, really? You want to identify something in your project as a setback? Okay, sure.
Yes, I mean, that's okay. That's kind of funny. All right, so here's the Robert A. Iger building. You can see just how beautiful it is. It's great. It's the dream project for a Gensler architect right here. But alas, here we go. Let's go ahead and make sure we get the headline in here. Exclusive! Robert A. Iger building nears $4 billion in project costs as, quote, vanity project balloons to epic proportions. This posted this morning, April 17, 2025, by Jonas J. Campbell himself. There you go. Here we go. And I also put the link to this article in the chat. You must read it, folks. Now, as reported by That Park Place in the past, the Walt Disney Company's New York City headquarters, located at 7 Hudson Square, doesn't bear the name of the company founder and visionary Walt Disney. Instead, the state-of-the-art facility is named the Robert A. Iger Building. Disney has stated that this new name is, quote, an honor bestowed by the company and its board, a board that includes Bob Iger himself. And we know that Bob Iger basically picked everybody on it. So, of course, he was going to get building. Why wouldn't he? The building, formerly known as the Galaxy Building, encompasses an entire New York City block, 2 identical 338-foot tall towers with a wide-ranging use case, and will include, quote, news, editorial, live production, streaming technology, advertising, corporate business support functions, and more. You can see the entire list right here, which is graciously provided by Jonas J. Campbell himself. Look at that. You got, all electric heating. Well, it's good, I guess. Conference centers, large screening room, reading room. Oh, it's got everything. But at what cost is the question. The project, a 1.2 million square foot complex designed by Skidmore, Owings, and Merrill. Is that right?
Yep. SOM.
Is a testament to Disney's ambition to blend Manhattan's architectural heritage with modern innovation. The project itself has many of its design choices approved by Bob Iger himself, with hundreds of design options lowered down to those specifically chosen by Bob Iger. Terracotta roofs, for example, canopies, and touches of champagne-colored aluminum accent the terracotta itself. Oh, it's just great, Jonas. This is fantastic. It just looks like a great environment to work in. Is that what you took away from this, Jonas?
It looks like an expensive environment to work in here. One of the reasons that we know so much about this is because there was a little bit of a press tour, whether it was done by the architecture firm or what, but they did so many write-ups in architecture magazines about this building. There it is.
Yes.
Bloomberg says it best. Disney's New York headquarters is for grown-ups. Sorry, kid.
Yes. And we actually covered this quite extensively and just how separated it was from the, what made Disney different architecturally. It didn't even follow the design aesthetics or schemes from the Michael D. Eisner building, that being the Burbank headquarters over there. Oh, no. We had to take a completely different tact with this one. It's just had to be so different. But maybe all that came at a cost. Project cost. The project was initially estimated at $2.5 billion when announced in 2021. That roughly, I believe, well, we'll get into the math here in a second. In that year, the Disney stock price was at a record high of over $197. Oh, good stuff. In recent months, the stock price had tumbled to around $83 a share. Despite the stock tumble, Iger's compensation soared in fiscal 2024, jumping 30% to $41.1 million from $31.6 million from the previous year, according to Disney's SEC filings. The package detailed by The Hollywood Reporter includes $1 million base pay, $18.3 million in stock awards, $12 million in option awards, and $7.2 million in performance-based incentives. Now, here's the thing, folks. What I understand, I'm hearing from sources that the scuttlebutt around the Disney television offices is that why exactly did Bob Iger get so much of a pay increase when the stock has continued to tumble in the way that it has? If it's supposed to be performance-based, why on earth is Bob Iger getting paid more than he did before and maybe stayed the same or anything else? Now, one could say, well, that's to retain what is an amazing CEO. We don't want to get poached by another company. But at the same time, it's a little weird. Jonas?
Weird. Yeah, absolutely. And we haven't seen what his 2025 pay is increased to just yet. I'm sure it's going to be something ridiculous here. Supposedly, he's leaving by 2026. Also covered by that Park Place and specifically an article by Marvin Montanaro pointing out the history here that usually CEOs wait until after they're gone and then the board names the building after the person. In this case, Bob Iger was on the board that decided to rename this, which was referred to as the Galaxy Building in the past. I'm sure there's still people at the company that are calling it the Galaxy Building. He was on the board when the board decided we're going to go ahead and call this ongoing project the Robert A. Iger Building. The Team Disney Building, which is now the Michael Eisner Building, that was not renamed until after he had stepped down from the company. This, however, well, Eisner was the executive chairman of the board when they made the decision.
This is amazing. It's amazing how this is all turned out right here. Let's get back to those visuals though, because you really need to know how much this whole thing costs. In that time, however, a source familiar with the matter has informed that Park Place that the project costs, that being the Robert A. Iger Building in New York City, the new ABC building, have exceeded estimates by more than $1 billion, with some within the company speculating the project will be $4 billion or more by the time it completes in 2026. According to IntraBuild, the average cost for a building in New York can go as high as $1,000 per square foot. If the $4 billion figure is accurate, the Robert A. Iger Building will come in at a whopping $3,300 per square foot. And you can see that right here, folks. What you're doing is you're taking the total square footage of the building, which is about 1.2 million. You're dividing that by the cost, right, of $4 billion. No, well, it's the other way around, but you know what I'm getting at. Sorry, math, not my strongest suit apparently on these streams. But if you do that math, yeah, it's about 3,300 square feet. Now, again, that's 3 times the higher end here. And as we can see from the visuals, why on earth is this building 3 times the high end of an average office complex in New York City? Jonas, please enlighten us.
Well, they do have 3 TV studios here, so where they can shoot episodes of The View, and also live with. I don't even know who is hosting with Kelly Ripa anymore. That's in there. Strahan's in there, so probably Good Morning America is going to be in there if it's not in there already. This is all things that are very much tied to linear television. There's also offices for Hulu and Marvel and ESPN and ABC in here. So a lot of linear assets are tied up in the Robert A. Iger Building.
I believe there was a. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, there is one quote here that I do want to take out of the article, not to toot my own horn here. Let me see if I can find the in accordance with Bob Iger's apparent vision of the Walt Disney Company, the Robert A. Iger Building has little in common with the theme parks, animation studios, and other entertainment operations. By the way, that's a quote from Architectural Record that run from Walt E. Disney's old stomping grounds. Instead of the family-friendly feeling of the Disney company's past successes, Bob Iger asked architects to mimic the Pixar campus designed by Bolin Sowinski Jackson under the direction of Steve Jobs. So we have yet another thing where Bob Iger is trying to use someone else's clout and image to try to pump himself up. This doesn't strike me as a Steve Jobs campus here. This strikes me as someone who is not Steve Jobs saying, do something that Steve Jobs would do.
Now you might, okay. I mean, look, I get it. They have production facilities in there, and that comes with a little bit of cost right there. 3 times the cost, I'm not sure. Now you would think maybe these, facilities, production facilities were lined with gold. And I'm going to use that phrase for a very specific purpose here in just a moment. But actually, no. Newscast studio here. ABC employees reportedly voicing concerns about the move to the Hudson Square, being the Robert A. Iger building. You can see right here, according to page 6 sources, some staffers taken to calling the new building no man's land, and the most people have been left in the dark about the move. But here you go. It says right here, staffers are reportedly worried about issues such as lack of space, basement level studios located near an active subway line, and how the building was designed. So it's not like this is like a premium, amazing facilities here. Apparently, there are problems associated with this building that are concerning staffers. Now, I tried to look into. Okay, maybe it's the architectural firm. Maybe the architectural firm itself is like paying its employees with huge wages and so forth. This was actually helped here by Deborah, who helped out with some of the research here. And look, this is this is provided by Google, so feel free to comment on that. But I looked at it and looks like the salaries for architecture. What is it? Architects, yes. I don't know. Looks like it's just about right. You can kind of see right here a little bit about who they pay and how much they pay and so forth. So it's not coming from here. And here's the thing, folks. I used the term lined with gold because I was trying to come up with some kind of analogy or some kind of thing that we could use to contrast this in some way. And what I found was the Trump World Tower, right? Because we have heard that some of those places inside Trump World Tower are lined with gold. The building itself, approximately 967,000 square feet, was $300 million, and that was back in 2001. Again, if you do the math on that, that's about $300 per square foot, which is right in line with the intra-build estimate right here. And even if you were to multiply that by a factor of 3, you're still at the high end there. So why on earth is this building right here, the one that you're shooting on screen, worth 3 times or even more than the high-end estimate of what an office building actually costs in the center or within New York City? This doesn't make any sense.
That the Lake Nona campus, and the Lake Nona campus is a completely different beast from a television studio. Granted, that was going to be a almost $1 billion facility. With tax breaks, it was probably going to go lower than that. So they could have built a lot of this stuff in Florida. They would have had to convince some of their hoity-toity New York talent to do something else. Also, the fact that they would attract a different kind of talent if they were in Florida than they would in New York. Granted, okay? So the location of an office building does affect the kind of talent that you bring in. So this is a clout thing. This is perhaps a hubris thing on the part of who could know who would make such a financially burdensome decision. We may never understand who decided that the Robert A. Iger building would not be constrained by good financial sense. But you can do a smaller version of this. You can rent facilities. You can, get something smaller where you're only putting the TV studios there. By the way, this is the largest concrete pour in New York City history. This is one of those buildings where it almost seems like they're trying to brag about the building more than they are about thinking about any kind of cost savings here. $4 billion. I mean, that's how much they bought Star Wars for. 4.06. Sorry. That's how much they bought Marvel for. And look what they've done with those things. So I expect they'll resell this thing for about $1 billion 10 years from now.
Shanghai Disneyland was reportedly cost $6 billion. Again, I mean, it's like, what are you spending this money on? And again, for every single dollar that they spend towards vanity projects like this one or Disney Plus or whatever, it's one less dollar that they spend on the parks. And maybe that's why their response to Universal UK is as lackluster as it is. As Cyrano 2960 with $2. Last shot. Call it Bob Two Showers Weatherman TWRS. Oh, I have a image for that, but I couldn't find it in time for this.
I don't think I don't know if we can put that in a G-rated stream here. One thing I'll also add: they definitely did point out that there will be shower facilities inside the building. Can you even imagine? Can you even imagine what Bob Iger's office is going to look like in this building when he retires again? And he pretends to leave the company because he's still got a 4-year consultancy and security contract out of this. Maybe it's 5, actually. So he'll still technically be with the company till 2031. Even if he stopped working like today, he would still be there until the next decade begins. So he's going to have a really nice office somewhere, no matter how much value he's actually delivering for the company.
Well, you know how many showers he has to have.
I love that picture.
It's fantastic. That's not the picture I was looking for, but I couldn't resist right there. That's absolutely fantastic. It's shower facilities. Oh, he's never gonna live that down. It's so funny. I know we're short for time, but here you go. That's an interpretation of the
Was that made by Captain John D?
It was made by Captain John D.
Yeah, he's got skills with the memes.
Oh, he does. It's fantastic. Go and Shogi with $2. How much did Epic cost to build again? Yeah, that's a good point. $7.7 billion. Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? The most technologically advanced theme park in the world, $7.7 billion. But this building, which is an office building, 4+.
Yeah, and they've got a reserve on the books right now. And you can go look at the article to get some glimpses of recent spending by the Walt Disney Company in the tens of billions of dollars in order to make streaming work. They've still got to pay another $5 billion for Hulu, or at least that's the reserve that they have on the books now. So,
and I'll go.
This is not a company that is known for spending appropriate amounts of money.
No, not at all.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media account.